Yep, it's time. Man versus man, player versus player. It's time to talk about the hardest game mode in Rocket League, 1v1. Now, you probably clicked on this video because you had nowhere else to turn to. You've practiced your mechanics for hours, done multiple training packs, and played for hours upon hours with your friends and solo queuing, and you are just not getting the results that you hoped for. You have found out that you have no other way to improve. That every part of your game is on par, except for that evil 1v1 part. You want to improve as fast as you can, and you know you can't without improving your 1v1 game. You don't want to scream at your computer for hours raging at your opponent, eventually uninstalling the game. You don't want to swear at the top of your lungs, then have your mom come in and take your computer away from you altogether. Well, that's why I'm here. Hi, I'm Vig, here to teach you how to become a well-rounded 1v1 player, and how to rank up fast and improve your overall game. Now, these are my tips on how to improve in Rocket League 1v1s. Tip number 1 is shadow defense. Shadow defense is basically when you shadow your opponent's movements while they are driving towards your net. You want to be facing your own net while they're driving towards you so that you could turn quickly and intercept the ball. What you want to do is you want to force your opponent one way so you'll cut off their angle to goal. This will force them to take the ball past you, and it'll give you a much better chance of saving the ball rather than just giving them an open net. Now, if you use shadow defense, I guarantee you will give up less goals in Rocket League. Tip number 2 is decision making. Rocket League is a decision-based game where mechanics are important, but you can beat out higher skilled opponents through outsmarting them. Now, decision making isn't easy, but it comes with time. The first decision you need to think about while playing 1v1s is when and how to challenge the ball. You have to choose these challenges wisely because you not only want to think about taking the ball away from your opponent so that they can't score, but you want to think about what you can do with the ball after you step. You want to set yourself up in the best position to score afterwards. For example, so on this play in the moment, I was focusing on grabbing the small pad so I'd boost the challenge when I got back. Then I saw the ball go up the wall and he jumped off to try and score a doomsday dish. Now I predicted this happening, so I jumped up the challenge and I made sure I hit it towards the wall rather than into him. If I would have hit it into him, he would have had a chance of dunking me and scoring a goal. Then I conserved some boost and saw the ball was going to hit the wall and come straight back towards me. So I positioned myself accordingly and got the shot on goal on an open net. Additionally, you have to choose a smart time to step when the ball isn't in a dangerous place to where your opponent can score on you. You shouldn't step unless you know it's a ball you can win. For example, if the ball is in the opposing player's corner like this play, don't step. It'll put you in a bad position 90% of the time and you will most likely get scored on. Tip number 3, positioning. Positioning is probably the number 1 tip you need to improve in 1v1, and that's just my opinion, but there are many situations to where if you're positioned correctly, you could take advantage of your opponent's positioning and score a goal regardless of how much boost you have. For example, so on this play we go for kickoff and he wins it, so I know the only chance that I have is if he goes for boost, but smartly my opponent stayed on the ball with 0 boost and got an easy goal on me. This was a smart play by him, and he kept his positioning, and that's why he got the goal. You know the saying, ball over boost? You don't? Well, that's because people choose boost over ball all the time. The boost is useless if your opponent scores on you. So focus more on putting your car between the ball and the goal, and focus more on getting the small boosts and keeping your momentum. You want to keep your momentum by continuously flipping and moving around the map. Wave dashing is also very important with keeping your momentum. If you don't know what wave dashing is, there's many YouTube tutorials on it and it's quick and easy to learn, so that you put yourself in the best position to intercept the ball and score. I promise if you do this right, you will give up less goals and you will blow your opponents out of the game. Tip number 4, boost conservation. Going off my last tip, you don't always need to get the big boosts. I recommend going into a training map and learning the routes of the small boosts, so that you can keep your positioning and still have boost. I would also, as I said earlier, try to flip and keep your momentum so that you could save boost for when you really need it. It only takes a minimal amount of boost to do basically everything you usually do in a game. The more you ration your boost, the more of a chance you will be able to make a save or score a goal over your opponent. Tip number 5, adapting to your opponent. Adapting to your opponent is such a big part of 1v1. If you don't adapt to the playstyle of your opponent, then they are going to take advantage of you and most likely win the game. An example of this is, so during this game, this guy was unable to adapt to my playstyle at all, and I just scored goal after goal after goal after goal, eventually winning 11-2, and that's what happens when you don't adjust. If you learn how to adapt to your opponent, you will rank up like crazy in 1v1. That is honestly what has helped me the most. Tip number 6, stay grounded. Now what I mean when I say to stay grounded is I want you to go for aerials and wall plays as little as possible. And try to keep the ball close to you so you can get a 50-50 or get an easy flick over your opponent. Only go for a wall play or aerial when you know you will score. Because even if you beat them to the ball, if you have a bad hit and they have a good recovery, they will most likely score. So stay on the ground and keep the ball close. Also, don't go for ceiling shots or flip resets or air dribbles unless you know you could hit them. It's just not a type of play to go for in a 1v1. Tip number 7, don't overextend yourself. What I mean by this is don't force a challenge. Don't go for the ball in the offensive zone with 0 boosts when your opponent is right there. Here's an example of this. During this play, my opponent went on the wall and tried to get an extra touch past me, but it was an awkward touch for him, so I got an easy goal off of it. Instead, he should have just headed back with boost. He would have most likely been able to save the ball and gain possession again, and I most likely would have been more patient with the ball. But since he overextended himself, I got a free goal out of it. So don't flip into the ball on the wall with no boost. Don't go for any fancy plays. Just play smart and you will rank up. Trust me. Tip number 8, kickoffs. Now, I know kickoffs are unpredictable, but if you put your car right behind the center of the ball and you flip into it, you are putting yourself in the best position to win the ball, especially if you don't know how to quick face off. But even if you do, then I would still play it safe, still quick face off into the middle of the ball. Also, I recommend if you lose a kickoff the next one, do something different. If you adapt your kickoffs based on your opponent, you will give up way less kickoff goals and you will score more, I promise. Remember this tip and you will win more face-offs in the future. Tip number 9, watch pro Rocket League players play 1v1. Watching high-level 1v1 players will help you with your positioning, decision-making skills, your boost management, your challenges, basically everything. That's how I got to where I'm at now, which is, oh crap, I am grand champion. I didn't expect that. I appreciate all of you. I hope these tips help. Subscribe for more content like this, or if you learned something along the way. Hey guys, I also started my own Patreon because I want to make better quality videos for you guys, so I'm going to use all that money towards my computer. If you want to help, then there will be a link in the description below, but if not, I just honestly appreciate all of you guys clicking on the video. This video took a long time to make, so I appreciate all of you who've watched all the way to the end. Now, I gotta go watch Napoleon Dynamite with my weird uncle. I will see you guys later. Peace!